You'll know in a few years.
And then you went home and you told your mom, and she went, "Oh my God, you're never going over there again, and you're not marrying him."
Backdoors and Blindside starts now.
So we learned a good YouTube lesson this week.
What's up?
We got shadow banned because of the title that you created for our YouTube short.
I can't fucking the YouTube algorithm, it's probably going to hear us talking about it.
Oh yeah,
it
doesn't like us. Yeah.
Like, I don't care if you take the classes, you watch the videos, you go on Reddit, no one has the right answer for you. I don't believe that there's a certain exact correct way to run a YouTube channel for engagement. It's all bullshit, or you're paying someone off. Because our YouTube channel not only has full video episodes of this podcast, but it also has shorts, right? Like essentially like Instagram Reels. And we post, our first one back covering Traitors is all about how much Colton sucks, right?
Gotta be, right?
The next one is, it's all about just playing a little fun, having a little fun with Alan on the set of Traitors. And I make the title, Pulling a Prank on Alan Cumming. And it turns out, if they're not the biggest fans of the Spy Kids franchise or the Traitors over at YouTube headquarters, because if you include Cumming in your title on a YouTube video, it will get your shit shadow banned. And you'll have 3 views, and those 3 views are all of the different YouTube accounts that Matt holds.
So funny.
So, yeah, lesson learned. And shout out the...
No coming on YouTube, apparently.
Yeah, no coming on YouTube. But we can do whatever we want on the audio version of the show.
Right.
Which is our podcast, Backdoors and Blindsides. We're covering season 4 of the Traitors. We are almost current and caught up with this current season.
We're just getting waterboarded with episodes, and we're finally coming to the surface a little bit and about to catch our breath here.
So if you are here as a result of binging the last couple episodes with us, shout out, we appreciate you. If you are finding us for the very first time, we cover competition reality TV and are currently talking Traitors season 4. In this case, episode 6, Planning a Coup. And we start off the episode with breakfast.
With
just
what?
Like
with post-murder, what?
You
What do we
have
call it here?
You have a childish term for it.
Brekkie. It's not childish. We went through this. It's Australian.
I don't care. there might as well all be kids in Australia, as far as I'm concerned.
So I do have a conspiracy about the breakfast room. And it's around the windows behind them. It's the same exact lighting every single time. And my conspiracy theory is that they are panel screens behind the windows. Yeah, there's no way that it is that bright, the same constantly throughout the entire filming every single morning. There's just no way.
Well, I mean, I think they have lighting in all of the rooms of the house.
Yes, but the windows specifically. Look, you guys, look next time. They're all sitting there. The windows, the outside is this bright, lush green, and there's just no way. Listen, I am in design and marketing, and one of my clients actually has a fake room, basically, where they shoot content in. And the room can be anywhere in the world because they have a high def screen in a window shape. And it's just, it can be in Paris, it could be busy city, rural area, wherever you want to be. And I was like, wait a second. I think that's what's happening on Traitors because it's too perfect.
You know who might be able to confirm that for us?
Who?
Kristen. Kristen is dropping all sorts of behind the scenes knowledge as of the last couple of days.
Her Insta Reels are fire.
Yeah.
She is, dropping all these tidbits. I think we saw her talk about how there's not a stove in the Traitors castle. Yeah. So she was trying to get, toast. She was trying to toast something. She was trying to pull something out of the toaster with a knife, and production was like, no. She's like, no, I'm a chef. I know what's going on. But she was getting some flack online.
Yeah, I'm a chef. I'm immune to getting electrocuted.
Yeah. But she was saying, people were giving her shit for, these cooking quote unquote techniques. She was like, no, I could not do any cooking there. There's not a stove for us to use because it's a hazard.
That's pretty good.
So yeah, she's great. I really like her on Instagram. She has a lot of personality, definitely more than we're getting inside the house. I feel like in the last few episodes we've gotten to see more of her.
She's playing.
No, she is definitely playing, and I really am enjoying her, and her Instagram is great.
I think we've said this before. I think it's becoming even more apparent now. She might be the most unrecognized threat in the game.
Oh yeah. Well, I said they should have killed her days ago when she was tied up to the tree. I was like, she's too smart. If I'm a traitor, we gotta get rid of her. But we have people starting to filter in for breakfast, and Johnny's fit kind of trying to rival Alan's.
Yeah, with like the headdress.
Yeah, he had the hat thing, and just the way he holds himself. So I think if Alan ever wants to retire, give me Johnny.
Johnny's one of the best dressed on the show this season.
Yeah, absolutely. And don't forget, he is an Olympic figure skater, and so is Tara.
Yeah.
And I just learned that they are going to be at this Winter Olympics. So tune in to that to see them there.
I think that's NBC definitely.
Well, yeah, but I didn't know if they were retired because we had a couple seasons ago, we had Ryan Lochte.
Right.
Lochte?
Lochte? That's Lochte.
Lochte, yeah.
Lochte Martin.
Yeah. He was on there, but he's been retired for a while, right? So
I don't know. I know nothing about Olympic athletes.
Okay. Well, now you know two of them on the Traitors.
No, like on Jeopardy, whenever the Olympics comes up, I'm like, fuck, because that is one that it's Olympics and Canada are like the two areas of
during COVID
categories that we'll never figure out.
No, during COVID, remember, we had nothing to do and we were playing a lot of Jeopardy. So at one point we were doing house chores or something like that, and up on the TV, I airplayed a map of Canada to learn the Canadian territories because I was tired of getting them wrong on Jeopardy.
And how many are there, and can you name all of them?
There's like 13 or something, and I could name a good majority of them.
I didn't retain shit from that. One of the biggest blind spots, I think. Something that I want to work on.
Well, we got to get that Canadian map back up on our TV. It might be useful in more ways than one.
Yeah, so Johnny, one of the best dressed on the cast of this season. I think Candace is really well dressed all of the time as well. And Lisa. I think Lisa's always looking good too. But we discover that there was no murder the night before because everyone shows up to breakfast.
Which I'm not a big fan of.
Why?
The production behind all of that. Because we learned that the Traitors learned about the fact that there was going to be no murder in the turret last night from Alan himself. He came in the turret and was like, hey guys, no murder. Sorry, not sorry. So they knew going into breakfast that there wasn't going to be a murder at play. I would have loved it if he didn't tell them that they had to fight over who to murder. They finally agreed on someone.
Got it.
And then they all walk in and breakfast the next day, and the Traitors are sitting there like, yo, what the fuck? Why is Colton here? I can't believe, you know what I mean? Like,
I understand.
I think that would have been a better shock factor from the Traitors' perspective.
I think it makes sense because of what we find out at the end of this episode, that when Alan is telling them about the banquet and what's to come.
Sure.
So it's like, we need to tell you that there's no murder tonight because you're going to do something crazy tomorrow during the day. Right?
I still wanted to see the egg on their face, though.
Yeah.
I think that would have been a little bit more interesting for me and as a viewer.
It probably would have. I think it would have. Lisa's hanging on by a thread. And I think it would have rattled her so much that I don't think Lisa can survive another breakfast where she's put on the spot.
No, she can't.
It's kind of crumbling around her, and Rob is, I think, starting to see what's going on. Candace, I think, also sees but isn't going about it the right way. And more of that gets revealed at the end of this episode and in episode 7. But we do get a quick flashback to the turret where Lisa says, we think Ron will be next at the round table. Ron's going to go get banished next. And Candace says the next day, Colton gets murdered.
Yep.
And that's their plan for the next 24 hours moving forward, which is good. You should always have an idea of who you're going to kill next and where you think the banishment is going to go. Because those two things obviously always go hand in hand. While we're at breakfast, Backdoors and Blindside's favorite player, Colton, nudges Dorinda.
And just for our at-home audience, as a reminder, Colton is a shitbag. And why is he a shitbag, you may ask? Thank you so much. If you don't remember, he impersonated a mutual stalker between him and his ex, allegedly. He put a tracking device on her car, allegedly, and he stalked her, actually, allegedly. And then she got a restraining order against him. And why Is this shitbag on our TV screen again? We don't know. You may continue with your antidote about him and Dorinda.
Well, what I wanted to point out is that Colton nudges Dorinda about Lisa and tells her to observe. But while we're getting all of the Colton hate, at least the brunt of it out of the way at the start of this episode, I think important to call back to our last episode where we broke down the fight, the altercation between him and Michael at the table. And I guess kind of revisiting that briefly, especially as like it's been out there for a little while. Like Rappaport, he's a fucking maniac, does not know how to conduct himself around other people, and dug himself into such a deep hole that it didn't really matter whether that was a pointed comment that he made or not, because they were ready to just let him go. And it seems like the rest of the TV show was ready for that as well. Colton still sucks, and it is bizarre that he's continuing to get this edit. Because he's playing, we've said he's playing narcissistically, he's playing very egotistically, and in shows past, we see that kind of get punished by the edit and by production.
I think he's starting to, I think episode 6 is a slight downward turn for him as far as his editing goes.
Yeah. We kind of covered this on Survivor 49 with Sophie Segretti. Yeah. Where it seemed to us like, well, there was controversy whether she was getting a bad edit or not. And I was like, no, I think she's just showing us how she is. And that just is kind of off-putting. Like, that type of arrogance can be just off-putting to the audience or other players in the house, which is what is falling on Colton at this point in the show. But right after breakfast, and, Colton nudges Dorinda about that, we get probably the most gameplay from Johnny that we've seen all season. And that's not counting him falling face first into the lock or failing to bring back a single skull on time in that mission a couple episodes back.
He's got to do something because the track record isn't too great for him right now.
But he is sourcing a team of 8 faithfuls, including himself, because
huge gamer move.
8 faithfuls at the table, they can swing any vote for banishment. Yes, it is a huge gamer move, and I'm like, fuck yeah, Johnny is also playing right now. Like, this is where the show can get really good. And I know, like, we love the gamers being around, but it's just as exciting to see non-gamers really come into that type of attitude.
Oh, absolutely.
Later on in the show. And I think Johnny's a great example of that. So
and then he starts naming names, and he goes Tara, Mark, Steven. Okay, cool. These make sense. Candace, oof. Buddy, she a traitor. You don't know that. And he goes, Eric, Kristen, Mara. Okay, we're back on the right track here. Who's his eight? Rob. I'm like, no.
It means, dude, like Rob is so in it. He's so deep.
He's so padded.
I really think that he is playing the best, like his best game. Yeah. Right now as a traitor. And he's definitely like my 1 seed. I think he is for most people, right? If you like, because just rooting for traitors makes it for more interesting TV. And he's doing a great fucking job at it.
And then on the Rob train, we get this really sweet, soft, sentimental side of him with Ron. Yeah. And at this point, I'm just like, thank you. Finally, someone is being nice to Ron.
Someone's being a human being.
Yes, we have seen no one be a human being to Ron. Everyone just thinks he's this conniving thing. And I still can't wrap my head around why they think he's a traitor because of the Porsche vote, because he gave such hard evidence. Again, we said that his answer was wrong, but all his shown work was correct. And how he got there was correct. He didn't lie, he didn't cheat, he didn't steal. But Ron says to Rob in that moment, they're like sitting down playing chess. Ron says to Rob that he's everything that the South embodies, like the good part about the South. And I was like, oh, that's so sweet. And Rob is saying that he doesn't want to get Ron out because, he's just a really nice guy. And he's had these one-on-one conversations with him that I don't think a lot of people are actually having with Ron at this point. But Ron does say, if you were a traitor, you'd be a good one. To Rob. And Rob was like, oh, is anyone like saying my name? And Ron's like, no, I haven't heard your name.
Yeah. I mean, we've said from the beginning, Ron is playing like a true faithful.
But
just
Ron
no one's
has
going to
been
give him
the
the time of day.
closest at all to sniffing on Rob.
And
But he didn't go so as far to, accuse him, but just like, oh yeah, you'd make a good one if you were one. But I don't think you are one.
You said you can't really understand why like they're going so hard on Ron. Let's not forget that 2 of the traitors have been voting Ron pretty much the entire time.
That's true. They are trying to really
Lisa
push for that.
and Candace, because they're going with the housewife killer narrative.
Oh yeah, I mean
And
they're inflating the whole thing.
Yeah,
and it's
so I think
because of the
that's
2 of them.
And I think if with that much consistency, you will swing the rest of the house.
Yeah.
Now that changes at the end of this episode and this round table, but I think that's why the heat has been on Ron so consistently, is from the beginning, the Portia vote, and Lisa and Candace have run with that, and you've been able to use that to their advantage.
Right, and I hate saying this. I hate saying it. Colton is smart. Michael Rappaport was right. He is conniving. That's how he got the restraining order against him, right? The conniving. But he says that Ron has been the best setup from night 1, even more than Michael. And that's absolutely, to your point too, what Lisa and what Candace want. And even Rob, to an extent, before this episode, where he kind of gets a softer heart for him. But yeah, Colton's also going to Dorinda saying, just watch her, just watch her. And Colton also goes to Natalie and basically tells her to just watch who's defending Lisa, watch who's shielding her, watch, if her name gets up, who's trying to push it away from her, because those people are also a traitor then. If he's right about Lisa being a traitor, he goes to Natalie because Natalie's a big gamer and she will look at things analytically, and Colton needs someone to do that, and Natalie's a great person to do that. And then we have them, it looks like they were just hanging out waiting for their sick Land Rover rides to come to take them to the mission. They're Land Rovers, right?
SUVs,
Range Rovers,
some kind,
the really nice
G-Wagons, something like that.
Yeah. And Lisa walks in the room. He goes, "Oh, the housewives sticking together. How convenient. I'm glad you don't have any sunglasses on today," talking about Lisa, "so I can look you in your eye." And she goes, "Well, what would you like to see?" He goes, "My future."
Bro.
I'm like, dude, that's the energy where I think his editing goes from like cute, innocent
hero to
like, okay, you're kind of coming on her. You don't know anything for a fact, but you're just attacking her for no reason.
But
in that moment, in front of a lot of people.
Let's take the Colton bias out of this. Is that a defensive move on his part to protect himself from getting murdered? Because if the more you call someone out in a public forum, the more obvious it would be if they murdered you, right? Like the more obvious it would be to them, like revealing themselves as a traitor.
Yeah, but you can double bluff too. Oh, if I'm Lisa, who's pretending not to be a traitor and pretending to be a faithful, I'd be like, well, they murdered Colton to try to pin it on me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I said I mean,
there's always that.
I said I didn't want Colton out. I said that I wanted Natalie out or Ron out or whoever out before him. He was coming for me, but I didn't think he was 100% a traitor. I didn't know. I think there were other people in front of him that could be more traitor-ish. And
I mean, what I will say is he's doing exactly what Michael was doing.
Yeah, but he's being a little bitch about it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, like Michael was confronting people at breakfast every day. Like he was jabbing at
so was Colton.
Yeah,
Colton's
had
many of those moments too.
It's that sort of, well, one person was doing this and we didn't really like the way that they were doing this, but now another person's doing it and they seem to just not be catching as much shit for it from other people at the table, at least up until this point. Now, I would say almost everyone in this episode has a moment where they are, if they're not directly saying that, they're in a conversation about how Colton he's too much and we're tired of it and we don't like the look of it inside the house.
It's probably what Cassie felt like too. His ex. Yikes. Anyways, so our G-Wagons come and pick up our players. And then we have some more Colton car drama.
Right. He's in the car with Tara, Rob, and Dorinda. And he whips around from the passenger seat and says, if I'm dead tomorrow morning, it's Lisa. We kind of all already knew that that was the vibe that he was going with, but this is this is pretty classic faithful behavior. Once you stir something up with someone who you're pretty sure is a traitor, if I go, it's Lisa. And of course, Rob is going to take this information right back to Lisa, which he should, but interesting group here, right? Because like Colton, who is a faithful, but charging around like in a very suspicious manner, has deep, deep trust with Rob. And this is obviously going to affect Rob's game because you need an ally like that, especially someone who is crusading around the way that Colton does.
Right,
like,
and you're never going to be on the tip of his tongue.
Yeah, that is huge and something that you want to keep around until you can't anymore. And that's like the important thing to distinguish and something that I don't think Candace and Lisa have exercised as well is when you have, day ones, if you're a traitor and you've got allies, you do want to keep them around, but you can't keep them around forever. And you need to wait but when it is the right time and you recognize it's the right time, you have to let them go. And I think that we have seen huge mistakes in the past, in previous seasons, where traitors are not ready to let their allies go at the right time. And I think that's something that they're both in danger of right now. Hopefully Rob is not.
Well, Lisa and Candace don't really have... I feel like they're each other's number ones, which is not super great because you do need some protection from the faithfuls and to kind of get a little lamb in and you to care for it to then slaughter it whenever you need to slaughter it, right? So, you could say housewives, but yeah, who's left at this point? Dorinda?
Yeah.
But like, you both are relying on Dorinda at this point? I don't know. And Rob has multiple. Rob has Colton. Rob has Maura. Rob probably has Steven to some extent,
He's
too.
getting close with Ron.
He's getting close with Ron. And so he's really kind of trying to create a network where I feel like Candace and Lisa are like, oh, we're just like so narrow-minded into this like alliance between the traitors. Tight. Yeah, it's way too tight. Yeah. And Rob's like, no, like let me kind of stretch out a little bit to get more protection and to throw people off even more. But we do have Rob saying in the car after Colton was like, oh, it could be Lisa. He's like, it's plausible because he's not trying to leave some trail behind once Lisa gets inevitably exposed based on what Rob's thinking at this point. He doesn't want anyone to go back to himself and be like, Rob defended Lisa. Rob was, pro Lisa and didn't think she was a traitor and tried to like push us off of her. That must mean he's a traitor too. So he is defending himself and he's doing everything that he should be doing in this moment right now. And he doesn't have to, stab or twist the knife or anything at this point. He just kind of needs to be a little passive and just be like, yeah, it could be a thing. You could be a traitor. I could be a traitor. Everyone could be a traitor, right?
Right.
So
to immediately take the attention off of Lisa would be a mistake on his part because that would be suspicious. So we arrive to the mission, which is in this dilapidated cottage on the estate. Looks a lot like the cottage where they had the dolls last season, where Sandoval had his bright shining moment.
It has maybe been my favorite 10 to 15 minutes on Traitors in history.
It's so good.
Is that challenge of Rob holding his ear and like singing the songs back.
Yeah.
Or Tom, oh my gosh.
Yeah, when he's like, he's trying so hard. And like he's taking it so seriously, and I don't think he's being douchey about it at all. Like he's really he's like the hyperactive kid that like
he just needs a job.
The teacher just gives like a very special job to like keep them, at peace basically. That was me. And
you're just explaining yourself and
we get inside the cottage where we all sit around a dusty table with letters on it. A sugar jar is sliding around the table almost like a Ouija board. And it's connecting letters that give an anagram of a name connected to a nearby grave. There's a graveyard with a bunch of headstones, different names on it. And you have to go out in pairs, select the correct name, announce that to Alan, and a hand comes out with a bag of gold, $3,000. Every correct answer is $3,000. There are also graves that have shields, and you, as a pair, could choose to get shields for yourselves. Those are your two choices, right? So it's either give an answer or take a shield. And right here, I think is important to point out what Natalie says
She goes,
at the very start.
She goes, if you take a shield, you're getting banished tonight.
Dude, what a fucking bomb to drop
Just
on everyone.
This absolute hostile takeover of the mission that she threatens everybody with. And because, right, a shield cannot be used at banishment. It can only be used to protect a murder in the turret. So you're still, on the chopping block potentially at the round table. She's like, if you take that, we're all gonna banish you. And Mora brings that up after the mission and was like, yo, I was kind of like scared about that.
Well, that's what I want to ask, because we've said already, like, we're fans of Natalie on the show, her survivor history, all of that. And we've established that, like, she's got balls. She's not afraid to speak her mind and take command of a situation at the round table, elsewhere. Do you think this is a good idea for her to make that announcement just so bluntly? Like, do you think that will piss people off? Would you, we admire, like, damn, that's a sick move, but would you say that in her situation, the way that she did?
I mean, it worked for her. No one took a shield.
Yeah.
It could be viewed as slightly traitorish behavior. Because
you want to make sure that everyone's up for murder.
Right, exactly. But the fact that people could rally to get you banished, I don't want to risk that, right? Like, I might not be killed in the turret, but if you're telling me I 100% will be banished, you don't want to risk that. Yep. The shield's nothing worthless to you then. To protect you against the murder.
It's like a guaranteed fate versus like leaving it up to chance.
Right, you got to get there first.
Yeah,
so
you're right.
I think it was kind of a badass move for her to do it. Would I have done it? Probably not. Would I have then, if someone else took a shield and went against what she said, I would absolutely use that as a, oh, well, they're probably a traitor because they don't think they're going to get banished. They definitely don't think they're going to get murdered. They're trying to take a shield from someone, whatever. I think that would be more of a red flag if you did end up taking a shield after that was said.
It's cool either way. I mean, it is just like sick to see her really step up and just announce that leadership, that all-inclusive rule, basically, to everyone. The first clue is solved by Candace and Tara, or at least they're the ones. They volunteer to run out first. They don't like the spooky vibes. People are coming out of the walls and the lights keep turning on and off.
That's
and
the
shit
Ouija board-esque one, because we have different little mini competitions per round. And I mean, Ouija board's freaking creepy. Have you ever done one of those?
No, I don't fuck with that. That shit's real, dude. I'm not messing around with Ouija boards. I've seen The Exorcist. You've done a Ouija? When?
Yeah.
Here in this fucking?
No, he would never allow that.
Were we living together?
No,
okay,
it was pre Matt.
Right, so then the curse is just on you. Then I'm good.
It was for a 5th grade birthday party.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Were you in Salem, Massachusetts?
No. Where we live generally right now.
Okay.
No, it was a friend's 5th grade birthday party.
Do I know this person?
Probably not. She did go to high school with us, but I feel like if I said the name, you wouldn't know.
Say her name, I'll bleep it. Oh, completely different social circle.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you didn't cross. We were friends, really close friends in 5th grade. She had a birthday party. It was a sleepover at her house. Mom bringing around, the mom was very much Mean Girls mom energy vibes. Can I get you guys anything? Snacks, condoms?
Yeah.
You know that? But like obviously not offering 5th graders condoms. That just, the general vibe I'm going for right now.
Like,
that
like
Amy
cool
Poehler.
Mom?
Yeah, kind of.
Is that Amy Poehler in that movie?
Yeah, but like kind of, is it? Right?
I've only seen it once. I have no fucking clue. Tina Fey's like the teacher, right?
Yeah.
I would assume that Amy Poehler is the mom then.
Sure. We'll go with that. I'm blanking now that you questioned me. And she's kind of like the like wine drunk mom. Okay. Is how I remembered her.
Okay.
And she goes, "Hey guys, I got you a board game to play." And it was a Ouija board.
Because that is like, it's like Mattel or something like that. It's like one of those like big game companies.
I went home the next morning and told my mom, and she was fucking pissed.
Yeah.
She was livid. No, but she was like, "You're not going back over there again."
You don't want the phone call.
We didn't really. We weren't really friends after that. My mom was like, "Absolutely fucking not."
Well, hang on. Like,
we
you're
don't
bearing
fuck
the lead
with
here.
that
Like,
shit.
what happens when you break out the Ouija board? Are you all? First of all, how many people are there?
I don't know. It was a gaggle of 10-year-olds.
Okay, so like a bigger sleepover party.
Maybe like 10.
Are we all like putting our hands on the
absolutely.
device?
Yeah.
Did it say anything cool or scary?
I can't remember.
Yeah.
And if it did, maybe I trauma blocked it out.
Yeah. It just said podcast. And everyone goes, what does that mean?
Yeah. You'll know in a few years.
And then you went home and you told your mom and she went, oh my God. You're never going over there again. And you're not marrying him.
That's so funny. But yeah, it was creepy. I would never do one again. And my mom was really upset that I did it. And the fact that another mom encouraged it and brought it out to her daughter's fucking birthday party. Wild.
That's pretty crazy for like 10. I feel like 10-year-olds is a little
right?
shady.
Like, here's a game of Chutes and Ladders, kids. Here's Twister. Here's anything.
How about here's a DVD? What are we doing playing with Ouija boards at a birthday? That kind of sucks.
She had a pool too.
I came here to watch TV.
They had a pool. A pool, and we were doing a Ouija board.
No Mario Kart?
Make that make sense.
That's crazy.
Yeah. I also distinctly remember they had a very nice house, very, very nice.
Uh-huh.
But the kitchen sucked. It was a chicken kitchen.
Oh, we're getting a little judgmental. Wait, what does chicken kitchen mean?
The fucking roosters and chickens everywhere in the kitchen. Like the farmhouse style kitchen.
Wait, like they had chickens inside the house?
No, not real chicken. Decor, statues, motifs, signs,
I'm not
and
familiar.
plaques.
So this is like a thing?
Yes.
This is like a trend?
Yes, people love a rooster themed kitchen. I think it's tacky and I hate it.
So that was your only experience playing with the Ouija board, though?
Yeah, and that's gonna be it. Ever. Yeah. No, I don't see myself ever touching one of those again. No, thank you.
I remember my sister one time, like in high school, played with one, and then, someone got in her head, and she was worried that like they were haunted for like a week, and she called and texted me.
It'd be the ghost getting in her head.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, I never called her back. I just saw the text about it, and I'm like, you'll figure this out. I don't think I ever answered her questions.
What, even talking about it was too much for you?
Yeah, I'm like, this is your own fault. Everyone knows not to mess around with these. Yeah, I don't fuck with that at all. Ghosts are absolutely. I used to live right off of a Civil War battlefield where that shit was absolutely haunted. We should do like a ghost episode.
Yeah,
That'd
tell
good,
scary ghost stories.
Yeah,
we'll sit by the fireplace over there.
Put that on the short list for Patreon ideas.
Sure.
So, where were we? The mission.
So we didn't even get past round one. Candace and Tara shit the bed.
Yeah, they get it wrong because I think it's like the same first name, two different last names.
Yeah.
And they mishear the group or they run out before like the correct answer has really been established. This doesn't seem to really be used against them because they are just running out because they're scaredy cats. But then the second clue is Jam Jam and Mara, who run out to give the right answer. Jam Jam is already going for the shield. He says, I want a shield, because I think he's feeling the same way that like Natalie kind of is, of gamers are being targeted. Jam's name has been written down a couple of times. Like he's definitely a little skittish.
Mm-hmm.
And he wants to go for a shield. Mara says, no, we can't because of what Natalie said. I'm not trying to get banished tonight. And he's pretty pissed. And I think that Jam feels like he could take a shield because he is probably along the mindset of like, well, Natalie's not going to banish me because I'm an ally for her because we're both survivor people.
Right.
And so he feels a little safer to do that than Mara, but she says no. He kind of throws a fit, and then we have Mara in the booth saying, well, that was some traitor behavior, that like he was really upset that I wouldn't let him take a shield. But they do get the answer right. and we see
my favorite parts.
This hand comes out of the grave holding the bag, and Jam bends over and gives it like a little tickle.
He gives a little tickle.
Hey, thanks, buddy. takes the bag out. He's so funny.
He is. That was like my favorite moment of maybe the whole season so far.
Really good.
I really liked it. It was so funny.
The next clue number 3, is a riddle about the youngest sister. And Lisa and Mark volunteer to take that answer out. And
another gamer move we get from Natalie, which is totally a Survivor thing, totally a challenge thing, is she starts doing, it's the one with the Dorothy and the whatever sibling is 3 years older, younger, which one's the youngest, this whole thing. I was blue screening during that. I like to think of myself as a smart individual.
Yeah.
I'm very.
Tell us more.
I haven't taken an IQ test, but I would guess it's pretty high. I was sitting there like, what the fuck is the answer to this thing? But Natalie, she did what I would have done, was if you can't think about it conceptually in your own little noggin, you start writing it out. So she was using the dust on the table to write out the math that was having to do with who's the youngest sibling.
Which is cool.
Yeah, and that's totally, a challenge thing. You see people all the time.
Challenge Survivor. They're drawing in the dirt, drawing in the sand.
Yeah. So I like seeing that, because then the following rounds after that, other people were doing that because of what she started. So it was fun to see.
Yeah, that is like veteran gamer shit. Fourth clue is Johnny and Dorinda. Lisa and Mark were successful, by the way, so that's another 3K. Johnny and Dorinda go out with the fourth clue, 3K earned. Colton and Kristen go out for the fifth clue, again, 3K earned. And the last pair to run out with the correct answer for the sixth clue is Steven and Natalie to bank another $3,000.
Which that one was super fast. Like they cut to that one really.
Yeah.
We didn't see it. And I looked down because I'm taking notes while we're watching for our audience's digestion later, that I can actually speak on this shit that I'm seeing. And we had to go back and watch it like twice because we were convinced that was Rob and Natalie.
Yeah, dude. This is where like
I forgot about Steven. I thought it was Rob.
It's just
Steven was there.
A dark-haired, handsome guy.
Yeah.
And he's not wearing the overalls, so we can't tell that he doesn't have the tattoo on.
Well, he also had a beanie on, much like you right now. Is this your inspiration? You got inspiration from...
This is my Steven?
Yeah, that's your Steven.
Okay.
The Decide beanie, yeah. But it wasn't Rob. It was Steven. But the last three remaining players were Rob, Ron, and Eric. They did not run out of the house.
Right. And another moment for Ron and Rob to just get a little closer.
Yeah,
right?
little ride back car time.
Right. And we see Rob really start to become conflicted about how that roundtable might go, because if we remember the night before, they say in the turret, Ron's going tomorrow at the roundtable. We're sure of it. This is an easy win for us to burn another faithful banishment. At this point, Rob's feeling this conflict. What should he do? Like going into the roundtable with these feelings, what is the right move for Rob here? Should he try and protect Ron at the table? Or should he let Ron go because he needs to stay close with his traitors?
I think
because if it's not Ron, it sounds like it might be Lisa.
Right. I think it's too stacked up against Ron right now, unfortunately.
Yeah.
You know, he said earlier episodes that you either need to exonerate me or banish me to get your answer, and they were definitely not going to exonerate him. So I knew a banishment was coming, and I think so did everyone else. Even Ron knew. He was saying his goodbyes before even the banishment came. So at that point, it sounds like Rob's playing with his heart rather than his head. Now, if that was Colton, that's a different story. If it was Mara, that's a different story, because those two people are Rob's right-hand faithful minions, right?
Yeah.
So that, I think, would be a little more conflicting, or should be a little more conflicting to Rob. And I think there's a play there you could make for strategy in addition to your heart, right? But I think Ron is truly just being, this emotional decision for him, which honestly, if anyone's going to get emotional sympathy and decision, I'm glad it's Ron.
Yeah.
Because he's gotten nothing this
Dude's
whole
gotten
time.
fucked the entire game.
Yeah. But I probably wouldn't, if I was Rob, I wouldn't advocate against shifting from Ron. I would kind of just let it happen. Maybe fuel some other people's theories. But at this point, I don't think Lisa has enough against her publicly to get a majority house vote against her. And if you're a traitor going for a traitor, you have to be convinced that you will have the votes, because the last thing you want is to write down a fellow traitor's name and then have to see them in the turret like 15 minutes later.
Well, and at this point, like Rob isn't gunning for Lisa, but he's been a part of enough conversations that are tailored towards potentially voting Lisa.
Right.
So you are really left with this, like, just this inner dialogue, because you can't really talk to Lisa about what you want to do there. You don't want to light a fire under her going into the round table. But there are a couple important conversations that happen after the mission before we actually sit down at the round table. I want to go back to Johnny, who, like we said, is really starting to show how much he's playing. He's formed Johnny's 8, and he goes up to Mark, who's in Johnny's 8, and he says Colton is more dangerous than Ron. Which is one of the first moments where we're seeing a faithful specifically say, I'm not worried about Ron right now, because he's been on everyone's radar this entire time. So Colton is officially being targeted, because in the past we've just had people say, I'm watching Colton, I'm thinking about this. This is the first instance where someone said, I think we should write Colton tonight, right? And that's...
Which, I mean, he said it earlier in the episode too, Johnny did. And I was like, yes, someone, thank you. Thank you for doing what all of America is asking for right now and getting this fuckface off of our TV screen.
So...
I'm pro Johnny. I'm pro this move. Absolutely. Because not only putting my hate for Colton aside, is that Colton is a bad faithful.
Correct.
He's a good faithful for a traitor, right? If you're keeping him close like Rob is. But he's a bad faithful because now he's calling out all these other faithfuls who he's then sent home.
Well, and right? I want to...
With Tiff, with Michael, now maybe with Lisa, because we don't know for a fact she's a traitor if you're, a faithful. So yeah, I'm not trusting Colton. And also, what's stopping him from flipping the switch tomorrow and coming for me if I'm a fellow faithful? And then what? It's just because he's the loudest one in the room and he's coming for me. I don't know what to do.
And that's something that I wish Johnny had voiced better with his group before they went into this round table.
Oh, yeah. I think that would have been a huge selling point for them.
We have Rob in a group of people that includes the other traitors, Candace and Lisa, say, I don't think Ron's a traitor. And
Steven and Eric were also there.
Right. And later on, Candace and Lisa confront him, and they're like, hey, what the fuck? Why? And first of all, now is not the time for the three of you guys to be whispering in a room together. And this is the first of a couple times over the next segments that they are all in a hush-hush group together, which just doesn't really make a lot of sense for Rob to be with Candace and Lisa alone in a room. So Rob starts to throw around the idea that it may not be Ron. And then Rob gets roped into Johnny's 8 because Johnny's solidifying the lineup in the armchair room. They call in Rob. They all start saying Colton. And here's where I think Rob makes his first mistake of the season. He really hesitates to go Colton. And dude, this Johnny has explained to you. Johnny's 8 has the majority at the round table, which means if you vote Colton, he will go home, which means you don't have to worry about burning him as an ally. And he's a threat to your game as a traitor.
Johnny's 8's doing your dirty work for you.
Exactly. And you know that he's a threat to the traitors because he's already saying Lisa's name. You have to, in this moment, you have to say, sounds good, you guys. Let's do it. Let's go Colton.
And that's why I think he's now starting to get a little too emotional for my liking. And don't forget, too, this is episode 6. They have only been together for like a week max now.
Yeah.
It is a fast game. Don't forget.
Just maybe 7 days.
Yeah. So this is not like a Survivor where you're out there for 20, 30 days. It's not a challenge house where you're out there for 3 months or whatever it is they're out there. Or even Bachelor, that's about 6 weeks, I think. So you're in here for very, very little time.
And Johnny is leading the charge. So you're not even going to be directly tied to this decision, right? This isn't going to come back to you.
Right.
Because look, when Colton gets banished and he steps in the circle of faith and he says, I'm a faithful, everyone's going to go, fuck, we were wrong. But who was wrong the most?
Johnny.
Right. Not Rob. And then you've also earned the trust of everyone else in that group even more. So I was like, no, dude, go with this.
When the whole house is against your faithful ally, you got to just let it happen. You can't.
And you go to, if you have time, you go to Candace and Lisa and you say, vote Ron. Keep that narrative going. because you've been voting Ron this entire time. It wouldn't make sense for you to flip, no reason. But I got roped into this. I now have their trust. You guys vote Ron, but we're going to vote Colton tonight. Ron goes tomorrow. I can't believe... Okay, so before we move to the round table...
We do have a quip. I don't know if this is what you're going to say, but I have to say it. Is Candace makes a quip about Maura being Rob's traitor husband.
Traitor wife, right? Yeah.
Yeah, because Dorinda walks in and is like, oh, Rob's my traitor husband. And Candace is like, well, he's also Maura's too. Oh. And so I have a good quote here. So Maura in a media interview, so this is post Traitors, I think it was just from a few weeks ago, she said, this is all me and Rob had to listen to in the castle from everyone. They were like, you guys are so hot together. And then Dorinda in some media interviews recently, she's quoted saying that they must procreate.
Oh, she's playing matchmaker.
Yeah.
That's like she's like the housewife. Like, I want a grandchild.
Yeah, basically.
But it's just two people that she lived in a castle with for 10 days.
Yeah, basically.
Oh,
and
she's a hoot.
Maura is on the record saying that she will not be on the record if her and Rob hook up, and that you just got to keep watching Traitors to see. But we've talked about this before. The fact of a showmance in the Traitor Castle, which we haven't seen yet, and I think would be real interesting.
But bad for Rob, considering he's already starting.
He's
to play
already
with
in.
his emotions,
He's all in all these sticky situations.
We will see. But before we get to the round table, this was fucking insane.
Give it to
Colton
me.
takes Lisa aside. He sits down with her in a room together, and he says, "Listen, I'll protect you at the round table if you protect me in the turret. I know you're
like record scratch. I'd be like, sorry, what did you say?
I know
what
you're
did
a
you say to me?
traitor, and I'll take care of you if you take care of me." I think this is like one of the worst things you could possibly do as a traitor,
well,
right? Or as a faithful.
He even says, I'm going to try something really dumb, but it could protect me for the rest of this game. But I'm like, dude, you did not make Lisa Rinna an ally. You have been coming for her publicly, time and time again now. And now you're just going to be like, oh, let's work together? No, that's not how that works. You need to foster that relationship positively and then be like, listen, I know we're cool. I know we like each other. We've worked with each other, but I have this feeling, and like, let's have us both go far. We can be each other's ride or dies. But he doesn't do that. He literally says he's going to try to take a traitor hostage. I'm like, oh, interesting. That's very interesting for you because I think you were also trying to do that in the real world too, allegedly.
Some violent language you're using there, brother.
And that's the thing. He has these little like psychopathic verbiages come up multiple times where it just
kind of makes your skin crawl.
Oh, it skeeves me out. It makes me feel icky on the inside. Makes me want to take my skin off, wash my body from the inside, and then hang it up to dry and put it back on later.
Here's why Colton is a dumb, stupid, magic marker baby idiot.
Magic marker?
Because if they give him the crayons, he'll eat them.
Oh.
So,
what the fuck? I've never heard of. Is that like a saying?
It is now.
Oh my God.
You watch your TV. So, if you are playing the game Traitors, you have a faithful and you have a traitor. Mm-hmm. Only one of them will win money. You cannot share the prize pot as a faithful and a traitor.
Right.
2 traitors can share the prize pot. 2 faithfuls can share the prize pot. There is no successful end to your game if you are working with a traitor and you've told that person that you know they're a traitor. They have no reason to keep you around. They have 0 reason because you will eventually have to kick them out of the game to win your money. So why the fuck would you ever tell a traitor that you know they're a traitor but you want to work with them? It's the dumbest thing that anyone has said in the history of this 4-season TV show.
The only benefit would be this isn't a scenario where you actually tell the traitor that, but you know that they're a traitor for whatever reason, your hunch or you've witnessed or whatever. You get to the very, very end with them, and then that's where you say I know for a fact that they are a traitor. However, there has been some online conspiracy and some talk as to why he would say this to Lisa and his close bond with Rob.
What is that?
People think that the people of the interwebs think that Rob told Colton
That he's a traitor? What?
that Lisa's a traitor.
That Lisa's a traitor.
And by means of
But-
that would also implicate Ron
But
or Rob.
Here's why I don't think that happened. Traitors is not a flashback show, and it never has been. And and I think that it would really fuck with the sincerity behind it.
No. Let me recontextualize this for you. You are not allowed to do that.
Right.
That's why in the beginning of the show, you take the traitor's oath. Alan has the whole little ceremony with you and would hand you your cloak. You're not allowed to tell anyone who the fellow traitors are, and you're not allowed to say that you're a traitor. That's the whole point of it.
Right.
So this would then mean that Rob did this illegally within the confines of the game. They're saying that Rob stepped outside of the game, went to Colton and said, hey, listen, under the shadows of night, whatever, I'm a traitor. We got to get Lisa out. I'll bring you in to be a traitor.
Why is there? All right, so that's
because listen,
we love conspiracy theories on this show, but
this is where I start to think, if I'm Rob, I don't want to work with these housewives anymore. We got Lisa's looking like she's maybe on her way out, and I think I can get Candace after that. They're not going to have a solo traitor. I'm going to get to recruit someone, and I want to recruit Colton because we're best buds. And then we're going to walk away with the split prize at the end as two traitors.
So Rob is being accused of cheating.
Yes, Rob's being accused of cheating on the production game level side. I've seen online.
All right. This group that is saying this online, is there like a particular trend in like the background? Are they pro housewives? Like, oh, we're mad that they're fucking over Lisa? Are they pro Colton? Like, oh, we're Colton's being bullied.
That's the
and whatever.
best part of a conspiracy.
Well, that's what I want to know. I want to know, like, yeah, like where is that idea coming from? Because it just doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
Well, they're watching the behavior of how Colton got on Lisa so hot all of a sudden for really no reason.
I mean, she's not playing very well though.
No, she's not.
Like that's like Colton realized what everyone else has also realized. He's just being way over the top about it.
Just watch it. Just look out for it. Here. I'll be Colton. Just watch. Just watch and observe, and maybe that's the could be the case. Or, maybe Rob didn't outright come and say it, but he kind of...
You're Colton? Colton,
no.
You got to take the cap off of the marker to draw. So it's crazy that... It's the dumbest thing that I think anyone has done in the show is tell someone, I know you're a traitor, let's work together. I can't think of any situation where this would actually work within the confines of the game.
1-to-1 parallels his alleged stalker past, because he has built Lisa up to be a public enemy, right? He's being the one that's calling her out in public, saying all this stuff. He's built her up to this like potential traitor threat, and now he's going to her and being like, I'll protect you at the round table, right?
Oh.
Right?
Oh, that's
he's
fucking gross.
He built up
I didn't think about it.
He built up his fake stalker profile with his burner phone, going to Cassie like, look, we have the same stalker.
Oh,
hey,
I can't believe the parallel.
Yes,
you're drawing.
He built that up to then get her closer to him.
God.
Right? Again,
really,
psychopathic behavior.
Yeah.
And that's what I mean. We can't forget about it because you see it play out in the game.
Yeah,
where you're
right.
like, you are fucked up in the head and you should not be anywhere near a production company.
Yeah. Also, you
or
probably
camera.
like the smell of your own farts, and that's disgusting.
Probably.
Let's get to the round table. This is where it gets sad.
Well, Ron immediately picks up his chalkboard and he has his chalk ready to go, and they had just sat down. I'm like, he just wants it to be over.
And he looks around and he goes, we've got to use the time. Meaning like, we have to, basically, we're on TV. We've got to fucking talk. So let's do it. Let's get this over with, right? And I'm so sad for the guy in the moment because, like, well, and we know he's a faithful. We know the way that he was trying to play the game, and he's just been burned from the very start. And that shit sucks. And
Colton kicks us off then.
Well,
he was like, all right, then, Ron, I'm suspicious of you. And he lists all the reasons, and it's the same reasons, the same structure that should be put on Colton.
well, and
Right?
and that's what I want to point out.
Ron is to Portia as Colton is to Tiffany.
And Ron makes such I think Ron makes such good points at this roundtable that he does. I mean, it's clear. We'll get to the vote, but like he does change the minds of several people, but it's not enough. And part of that is because the Traitors are still in control of this game more than anyone. But Ron goes right back at Colton. He says, well, I think, and here's where I got so angry at every other faithful in this game, if we're assessing the way that the faithfuls are playing, and namely Johnny. We've spent the last 40 minutes of this episode with Johnny crusading around, getting the gang together for a Johnny's 8 for a fucking casino heist. And he lets Ron lead the attack against Colton. The number one suspect in the game is leading the attack against the person that you're coming for that night. You have completely lost any chance. Because now that it's coming from a guy,
Delegitimizes it.
Now that it's coming from a guy who has no credibility, undeserved, but still no credibility, now you've burned your entire move.
Well, you do
It doesn't matter. You're not going to hit now because no one is going to trust the person who is talking the loudest because everyone else is afraid to speak up at the table.
Well, no, you
Bad
do.
faithfuls.
You do
Bad
have,
faithfuls
no,
in this game.
I do agree with you, but you do have Johnny and Eric that speak up negatively about Colton, and Mara jumps in on it too. But that is because Kristen is the one that jumps in to pile on top of Colton even further and basically shines Colton's entire game into the light, where she says, you always have this idea, you're saying all these names, you're seeing what sticks, and then the words that she used is reverse engineering it.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's again from the alleged stalker past. That's exactly what he did with Cassie. He reverse engineered this allegedly. He reverse engineered this whole stalker story to pin it back to her, to make her believe a false narrative, make her believe something that wasn't 100% true, that he knew the truth behind, allegedly.
Ugh.
So we're seeing those tendencies play again and again with his moves, and it just further cements to me he's a big bag of shit.
He is a bag of shit. You're right.
And she says, if we're holding Ron accountable for Portia, we're going to hold you, Colton, accountable for Tiffany.
Well, that's the
And he was
thing.
just like, yeah.
But not everyone does. And again, like my heart broke so many times during this roundtable. Ron speaks up for himself and he says, we don't like Michael, so we don't count it against Colton. But we liked Portia, so it counts against me. And that's not fair.
It's not fair.
And I'm like, yeah, dude. Like, fuck all of these people.
Because before Michael said what he said at the round table, whether he meant it or didn't mean it, they were already coming for Michael anyways. It was just the nail in the coffin. And Colton was leading that charge. That's why Colton got that heat from Michael at the round table. Poor, comment thrown in there aside. So Michael was going to go regardless if he said something, homophobic or on the lines of homophobic, whatever you want to call it.
He was already on the outs.
And it was because of Colton.
Yes.
So again, there's two back-to-back, Tiffany and Michael, that we're not holding Colton accountable for as a faithful group here, which I just don't understand. But we're still hung up on the fact that Ron got at Portia when multiple people said, yes, Portia did say we and kill and murder and da-da-da-da-da. But then in Ron's final moments, he starts going around the table and just says niceties about them.
What he says, the best thing I could, God, it's so sad.
I'm not gonna lie, I almost started crying. My tears were welling up. I had to do like one of these, like a fanning of the eyes.
I want to be friends with him so bad and just be like, hey man, it's cool.
Well, listen, we might, because we're gonna go to his comedy tour.
We did, yeah, we did. We were so sad in this moment watching this episode last night. We bought tickets to see Ron's tour, which is in the spring. But he looks around and he says, the best thing I can do as a faithful is let everyone write my name down. Because it's going to
heart.
It's because, well, and I will admit, like he says, you know, his reasoning is like, this is going to expose Colton as a traitor. Colton's not a traitor, but
we still want to get him out.
The sentiment behind it, I'm just like, oh, dude. And again, it's that paired with what he said about, oh, we didn't like Michael, so we don't count it against Colton, but we like Portia, so it counts against me. This is where he finally flips his like some of the other members at the table, some of the other faithfuls, to start looking at this in a different way. And it's only because, and it's so frustrating to me, it's only because of the aggressive play style that Colton has been taking. And it's so frustrating to me. And like, we off air, we are always talking about how we don't want to be a show that just complains. Like, this is not the bitch brigade. We like to really analyze shit and talk about TV and hopefully in an interesting and entertaining way. And an hour and a half of someone complaining into a microphone is not interesting. But when you stack this cast up against the cast of season 3, the cast of season 3 had some amazing personalities, but I think the reason that season was magic is everyone was there to play, and that's it. And I don't think that everyone in this season is here to play, or at least they're not coming in with the right mentality of like playing a game. They're taking shit way too personally. And again, this still could come back to like Candace and Lisa driving, you know, the housewife killer narrative against Ron. But it's like, oh, we're finally realizing that we have been emotional and not really playing correctly. But it's too late because Ron's already out the door. Colton's already gotten what he's wanted 3 or 4 times over and been wrong about it, by the way. And you talk about the take you saw of like, there shouldn't be gamers. I think there should be. No, I think you need gamers to keep the integrity of this shit going on, because if you don't, you're going to end up with what's happened here, which is the faithfuls losing. Right? That's what it comes down to, is the faithfuls are losing because they're not willing to play correctly.
Yeah.
And that sucks.
Well, you do have, as Ron's going around the round table and saying what he loves about everyone, Tara kind of interjects and she says, guys, it's not Ron. Look at how he's going. It's not him.
She goes even further to say, I don't know if this will get me murdered tonight, which, by the way, smart.
Mm-hmm.
It's not Ron.
And then Natalie and Rob both also say they don't think he's a traitor. And at this point, if I'm Lisa and Candace, I'm like fucking, it's a big round table, but I'm fucking kicking Rob under the round table. Like, what the fuck are you doing, dude? What the fuck? Right?
Natalie even says, I don't want to sacrifice another faithful.
Yeah.
Like you have this inertia at the round table, at the hands of the true faithfuls. And I think you let it ride. If you're a traitor, you let it ride because they're not coming for you. So you go where it goes. And even if guess what? If Ron doesn't go home tonight, he'll probably go home tomorrow night, right? Like you keep him around as long as people are saying someone's name. I think they're worth keeping around until they're not anymore.
Yeah. And then Tara. Oh, I keep getting it wrong. So sorry. We get the Tara interjecting, and that kind of brings the table to a halt. Everyone's like, oh shit, she kind of right. But what do we do now? Right?
Well,
what do we do now? And Colton is sitting there. He can't say Ron because people are saying it's not Ron. He's not going to say himself because he's also target number 2 at the table right now. So that's when he starts throwing out our girl Lisa Rinna's name out.
Which, I mean, it makes sense in that moment. If he is determined to be responsible for whatever happens at the round table.
Well, he's fighting for his life at this point, because if it's not Ron, then it's looking like it might be him. So what are we going to do about that?
He turns on Lisa, and this is good faithful behavior for once. He cites the Portia vote. You voted out Portia, a housewife, a member of your
On
crew.
night one.
On night one. And this is when Natalie says across the table.
Again, she's had so many good gamers moves.
She is spitting truth.
Just on
in this
fire.
Episode.
Yeah.
She says, the one thing you have on night one is your people. And I wrote down, put that in the playbook. That goes in the playbook of traitors and faithfuls. On night one, you've got your people, and you shouldn't turn on them.
And then what happens?
In front of everyone else, at least.
Right. And then what happens? You have Candace there. Guys, look, we're being distracted again. Colton's distracting us, throwing us on Lisa. He's distracting us from this Ron thing and from himself. And if we rewind again, we have Colton saying to Natalie, to Dorinda, to whoever, watch Lisa and watch the people who throw it off of Lisa. So this is not a good look for Candace in this moment at all. She is now, the conversation has been diverted to Lisa, and now she's trying to take it back away from her. Girl, you better watch out.
And that's where the integrity of the game is starting to crack, because everyone's getting angry. Like, no one is being strategic.
It's palpable.
No one is strategic at this table.
I don't think anyone knows what's going to happen.
Everyone is angry or they're sad because they realize that they were wrong about Ron the entire time, and he's about to go home.
Yeah, and this is the biggest split vote that we get.
Right.
And I think the entire season so far.
Let's break down the vote. We have 4 votes for Colton, and that's the first, or I think Michael at one point might have written his name down, but this is like the first time that people are voting for Colton, as a group, no matter how small. That's 4 for Colton. What happened to Johnny's 8?
I don't know. We have Johnny, Kristen, and Tara in the Johnny's 8, and then Lisa also voted for Colton because of course she did. She pissed at him right now.
4 people showed up for the heist. The other 4 didn't make it out of the hotel room.
What happened? They hung over, drunk in the hotel? Where's our ops guys? Where's the people rappelling down from the ceiling? What's happening?
5 votes for Lisa, including Ron, Colton, and Rob. We have our first traitor on traitor vote of the season. And dude.
And Eric and Natalie.
Rob, you can't vote again. And second mistake. He's made 2 mistakes in this episode. You can't vote against another traitor unless you know it's going to hit.
And you don't know it's going to hit because Colton just brought this information to the table 5 minutes ago. You think it's going to sway that many people that fast? No fucking way.
Bad move. Bad move on Rob's part. And then, all right, Fish. 6 votes for Ron. Candace is the traitor that votes for Ron. Makes sense. Stuck with the narrative the entire time. Lisa switching things up and voting Colton in retaliation, I think is a bad look as well. I think that why wouldn't you continue voting for Ron if you have this entire time? You should have kept that narrative going. So Candace is, I think, the only traitor that votes correctly here.
Really? Because if she voted Colton, Colton would have gone home. If she voted with Lisa, don't forget, Mark and Mara and Steven were part of Johnny's 8. And Candace.
Yeah.
They all could have voted for Colton, and we could have been done with Colton.
Well, I mean, Rob should have voted for Colton as well. Like, we should have solidified that.
Right.
I think it would have made sense for Lisa and Candace to both vote Ron, and people who say they're going to vote Colton actually vote Colton. And that is, I think that's a big mistake here. I think Ron just didn't care anymore. He's like, fuck it, I'm going to vote for Lisa. Like, his dejection, I think, is a part of this as well. There's a bunch of different parts to this kind of messy ass, poorly executed round table. But Ron is the person to go home.
I did have my hopes up for a little bit that it was going to be Colton as those names were flipping around at the round table. He lives to see another day.
He does. And as Ron makes his exit, Colton turns to Lisa and in front of everyone says, "I'll take us both down to get you out." First of all, what the fuck does that even mean?
I have that quoted here in my notes, and I have a dash, but from who said it, dash Colton the psychopath. What is the point of doing that? Again, he has to have, I feel like he has to have like the last word. He has this like ego about him, the same that he inflicted upon his alleged abuse victim, Cassie, his ex, right? He has to have this power over people. He has to assert his dominance. He has an ego. He has to just fucking on him, you know?
Well, and I want to point out, like, that's basically what, like, saying shit like that is what Rappaport was doing.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that they're essentially just your tone is a little different. You look different than the other guy does, but I think that it's the same aggression, just being voiced with different words and different tones. So then he gets up and Colton cuts a fucking promo. He says, to all of the traitors in this room, I will take every shield moving forward to make it harder on all of you, so you better kill me tonight.
Good.
Yay.
Do it then. Do it. Right?
That's what would make the most sense.
I will say though, back to Rob's vote, I do think he was voting like a faithful.
Rob voting against Lisa?
Mm-hmm.
But do you think that in that moment?
I think as a traitor, not a good look for him.
Mm-hmm.
Amongst his other traders, like we've said this before, if you're gonna take a hit at a fellow trader, you better make sure that gets hit. But I think he's built so much up about Ron not being a traitor that he could not vote for him. And Colton's his homeboy, so he couldn't vote for him either. And he didn't want to throw a vote away. So who else was he gonna vote for? Lisa. So if I'm Rob and I am thinking like a faithful, because he said basically that he disassociates, and whenever he is not in the turret, he is playing like a faithful. Then I do think that was a good, bigger picture game move for the other faithful counterparts of the game. Lisa and Candace are definitely going to be pissed at him. That's definitely not going to help him moving forward. But I think in the context of the other faithfuls, it makes sense, because we're having a lot of people look at other people's votes, like Lisa's vote against a fellow housewife, Portia, in the very first vote. People are being like, that doesn't make sense. And Rob is terrified probably right now, being like, I don't want someone to look at me and be like, that vote didn't make sense.
Voting Colton?
Yes, voting Colton or voting Ron, right? So he's like...
So you think it was still the best move for him to vote Lisa? Individually.
I mean,
we have to start playing individually. We're halfway through. Like, I think Alan announces we're halfway through the show, right? So shit is about to change. Everyone is going to be under much closer observation. Right.
And we have Lisa saying, don't expect anything from me. I'm not a housewife. I'm not this. I'm not that. I'm Lisa fucking Rinna.
So sick.
And I was like, dude. And Colton's over there like, yeah, you're a legend. You're an icon. Shut the fuck up, Colton. You don't even know what she's from. You don't even know who she is.
Yeah.
And you're just throwing out words like legend and icon to, like, you know, make yourself look not as bad and show people and show her that you quote unquote respect her for who she is.
So we are watching this and we think, all right, well, it's got to be Colton's time to go. Without question, he's the one who gets murdered tonight. Alan announces to the group that there will be a banquet later this evening, and everyone needs to go and get ready for this banquet.
Mm-hmm.
And before the episode ends,
this is a long day for those guys.
We get a call back. We get a flashback to the turret the night before, where Alan comes in his, I call it the murder fit, with like the cloak and like the brimmed hat.
Mm-hmm.
I love the murder fit.
Sure.
He tells the traitors that the following evening, there will be a murder in plain sight with everyone in the same room. He presents an amulet that is, it bears the curse of death.
It's more of like a big flashy brooch thing.
And one traitor must wear this to the banquet. The first faithful to touch it will be cursed for death. Lisa steps up right away and says, I'll do it.
Well, they agreed that why would Rob wear that?
No.
That doesn't make sense.
Well, if I'm Rob, I want to say this. If I'm Rob, I'm looking around and I know that Lisa's game is coming to an end.
Oh, yeah.
And you know, however, this was before, you know, he had to write her name down 24 hours ago. Her game is coming to an end. Let her be in danger and let her be responsible for the murder in whatever fashion,
mm-hmm.
right?
And she already made that decision before Colton
mm-hmm.
and Team and Rob came for her at the round table.
Yes, exactly.
So she had already been like, yes, I will do this. And then he like fucking tried to banish her.
Yeah, that does. Well, I mean, it just like Rob was in the worst position of anyone at that round table.
Oh, yeah.
Where like there was going to be blood on his hands no matter how
Yeah.
he voted. But I do think that you broke it down best, is that is the least dangerous option for him to vote against another traitor, which is crazy. I'm impressed that he's navigating this so well, but his emotions are becoming a bigger thing, a bigger factor in his decision-making and his gameplay. So we'll see what happens. After dinner, before credits roll, we get all three of the traitors, again, in the kitchen by themselves, talking about who they're going to kill. No, shut up. Just fucking let them go. Let them figure it out. Let Lisa and Candace figure it out, because Candace missed out when Lisa and Rob committed the first murder in plain sight together.
Unless
you have something really important to share, i.e. Candace, this person said your name. Lisa, this person said your name. Rob, this person said your name. Just have faith in Lisa, because also all of the heat is on her. If she doesn't pull it off, she's the one who's going to get banished. You know, if she does pull it off, she's probably still going to be suspicious in some way.
My anxiety would be through the roof. I mean, you even had people cutting, like, people looking around in the rooms and throughout the castle. I mean, who knows if that was actually just spliced together and people weren't actually doing that while they're in the kitchen. But I was like, guys.
It doesn't matter. It's a small enough surface area that the three of you talking, you can be in the same room together. You can't fucking talk game.
No.
You can't for a sec. It's what Rob said. You're playing as a faithful. Unless you're in the turret, you're playing as a faithful, which means you're talking like a faithful when you're around the other traitors, whether you're alone or not. It doesn't matter if you're in the fucking secret cellar behind the bookshelf.
Yeah.
It's still too dangerous unless you actually have to complete a task.
I think talking to a fellow traitor one-on-one in a you know, a secure location, a secure room, if you will, is like better, but not all three of you together. That's too suspicious. There's no doors. People can hear.
So we will see what the banquet brings, and who they decide on, and if they pull off the murder in plain sight. Again, shout out to our YouTube channel. The shorts will continue.
No coming involved.
Pornographic titles or not. And check us out on Instagram as well, at Backdoors and Blindsides. And tell a friend about the show. Give us a nice review, a 5-star rating, all that good shit. Comments are nice too. Comments on videos and reels and stuff like that. We like the engagement. So until next time, whether you like it in the castle, like me,
or you like it in the turret, like me,
however you like your game played, true faithfuls and master traitors are always taken care of here on Backdoors and Blindsides.